Alright folks, welcome to another beer review, and this is the first of 3 beers in a little series brewed in collaboration with, excuse me, Left-Handed Giant, Daya and Verdant, and this is the Left-Handed Giant with Verdant beer, Drift Out, which is a West Coast IPA, clocking in at 6.5% ABV. I think this was like a little series that Fuss Club were involved in as well. It certainly states that on the glass, and that's where I got it from. So I'm not sure if these beers are available elsewhere. But it's part of the Little Summer Beer Bash series. Well, they have like that little festival, don't they? So brewed in collaboration with our good friends Verdant to celebrate Little Summer Beer Bash 2023. A lean grist with 100% Pilsner malt, continuous additions of Simcoe, Centennial and Nelson Sauvin, whole leaf during the boil. To layer up the bitterness, a hefty double dry hop of the same, totaling 15 grams per litre over 2 additions. So there's this brewed in collaboration with Left-Handed Giant and Verdant. There's one with Left-Handed Giant and Daya, and then there's a third one which is a three-way collaboration. Really like the artwork on these. Obviously there will be information in the description because I've probably completely misrepresented this beer, the series, and the Little Summer Beer Bash. But yeah, it definitely is Left-Handed Giant's little festival, because they were doing like a few tap takeovers in and around Bristol, from what I remember. Relatively new, not had a West Coast for a while, and of course you get the 3 beers and a really nice. I don't know if this is classed as a teku, but it's a beautiful stemmed glass. Really getting into my stemmed glasses, as you can see from 2 glasses that need to actually be washed. So yeah, not had a West Coast for a while. Let's see what we get with this one. So I'll probably intertwine these reviews with other ones that I've got going up, because I've got a few Azvex reviews to put up on a row. That looks like it's dead skin, but it's not. I've got some pre-made pizza dough, making some pizza. It doesn't taste like really good pizza dough, but I've always really liked the taste and texture of pre-made pizza dough. I like those really cheap little small pizzas, just really satisfying. So yeah, might as well get the oven on while I'm waiting. And some of Papa Pietro's homemade, versatile, Italian inspired, probably as far from authentic as you can get, sauce. Anyway, we're not here to talk about my Anthony Bourdain-esque culinary exploits. We're here to talk about my Michael Jackson-esque alcoholic expertise. Disclaimer, neither of those statements are true. I just enjoy a good beer, and hopefully this is one too. Nice sort of like hazy West Coast, beautiful amber colour. One of the few occasions where it actually looks the same on camera as it does right here. One finger's worth of a nice foamy white head. Let's see what we get on the nose. A little bit of a marmalade-y character. It's not the most aromatic of IPAs. Not that that's, you know, a detriment, of course. A little bit of a maltiness there. Grassiness. There's another aroma in there which I can't put my finger on what it is. And I can't even fathom the words to describe it. Just a classic example of a very limited vocabulary on these beer reviews. But I suppose people just want to know very basic flavour notes and if it's good or not. But yeah, it's a little bit of a slight piney-like aroma. Very subtle, very, very subtle resiny tones. But yeah, I'm definitely getting a little bit of orange marmalade coming through. But it's not a potent smelling IPA by any stretch. Anyway, looks very good in a glass. It smells very nice. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Oh yeah. What it lacks on the nose, it more than makes up for it on the taste. Yeah, very much more piney, dank, that slight caramelly character. Definitely a malty IPA, but it doesn't overtake the hops. Really nice mouthfeel. Nice slightly dry finish as well. Little hint of grapefruit. I think this is actually a pretty damn good West Coast. By no means a palate wrecker or anything like that. It's very sort of like subtle and rounded, but it is capturing those flavours when the West Coasts were like all over the place. Doesn't have that sort of like hot potency that maybe some of the American West Coasts had, and this is just going off your recollection of times gone by. But it doesn't taste like just a generic IPA, which sometimes a lot of contemporary West Coasts do. Just tastes like a modest, slightly hoppy IPA. I would say the bitterness definitely builds up. You can feel it on your palate, but not on your palate. You know, the top of your neck, whatever part that is there internally. You can have multiple parts there internally, but we won't get into that discussion. Won't lower the tone that way. Although a very questionable woman who I was in a relationship once asked me really sincerely, could she fuck my mouth with a strap on? I got scared, declined, but upon reflection, would have been an interesting experience. Oh God, where else can you get a beer review where the reviewer very casually and awkwardly talks about the proposition of being face fucked with a strap on? It's beer, it's not family friendly, and I would probably have this discussion with you when I was very pissed. See, they don't know if that's real or not. That's the beauty of it. But no, back to the beer in hand. I think that's a really good attempt at a West Coast. We seem to do that now, don't we? Where when we get a West Coast style IPA or pale ale, we're trying to like decipher if it's a good interpretation, as opposed to talking about the beer in a, you know, an object. Well, it's subjective by nature, isn't it, to review something? Don't listen to people who say, oh, I'm just trying to be as objective as I can be. You've got your thoughts and opinions. That's what you should do with a review. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't matter what you're reviewing. Whether it's a book, a film, an album, a beer. I like it when people who review stuff actually be subjective. Not to the point where it borders into ignorance and, you know, arrogance. But yeah, I think it's just a really, really well brewed IPA. And it breaks up the norm nowadays, which is just juice bomb, fruit bowl, juice bomb, haze bro, juice bomb. Sometimes you just want to have a good back to basics IPA, West Coast, take it back to the old school. Yeah, you definitely, it leaves an aftertaste, like a very resiny, piney aftertaste, which is something that I do genuinely miss, especially from the early days of me getting into craft beer, when like the West Coast boom was well and truly, you know, with all the imports we were getting by a lot of breweries who, you know, always had a go at people being independent, but then got bought out with very lucrative offers. But you know what, I've always been of the opinion, sell out. If your business is deemed worthy of a massive cash injection to secure yours, your families, and hopefully your employees' futures, then why wouldn't you sell up? Why wouldn't you be a 4Pure? Why wouldn't you be a Ballast Point? Why wouldn't you even like be a Brewdog? I think as craft beer drinkers, one of our flaws is getting overly attached to breweries and getting offended as if we've been punched in the mouth by a fascist when our favourite brewery gets bought by, you know, like Anheuser-Busch and stuff like that. I know there'll be people in the industry who are negatively affected by that. You know, it's bigger, you know, share of the market. It monopolises the beer. But as much as I try and be or approach stuff with, you know, like a good, I'd like to think I've got a good moral compass. When money comes a-calling, you're a bit of an idiot if you turn it down. And a lot of people who do turn down big money tend to have, you know, their life settled anyway. I just like it when these buyouts and stuff, where people currently working for said brewery or whatever company it is, in whichever sector it is, as long as the employees are still looked after. And there's probably some of the examples that are cited where there's been cases where people have lost their jobs as a result of buyouts and takeovers, but it is what it is. But yeah, back to my point, you know, back in the day when I was, you know, trying new beers, you know, getting excited when I saw Sierra Nevada Pale Ale on the shelf, which I still do because it's a great beer. You know, and trying these like American imports from the likes of Stone, Ballast Point, these big, heavy hitting, abrasive, palate destroying, bitter but fruity and hoppy IPAs and pales. There's a glimmer of that in this. And that's just coming from the aftertaste. Some people will drink this and think, oh, that's a terrible West Coast style on, you know, pen and paper, bullet points, style guides. Some people might say, yeah, it's not really that good. But at the end of the day, as long as you enjoy it, who cares if it's not true to style? Even with me, with my militant distaste of hop forward lagers, yeah, I'd probably get my soapbox, be a massive hypocrite, but as long as the beer tastes nice, then isn't that the whole point? But tastes very good. It's very Moorish. It seems to get better the more you drink it. And it was already a tasty brew after that first sip. But I think that's a good West Coast style IPA. Yeah, what more can I say? So this was Drift Out, brewed by Left-Handed Giant and Verdant as part of the LSBB trio of beers with involvement from the Fuss Club, which is a great bottle shop. or Webshop that I don't use that often. I think because I split an order with my good friend Adam. He seems to be getting mentioned on every beer review nowadays. But yeah, definitely a brewery, a place I should order stuff more from. But I've been really getting into buying direct from breweries. And, you know, with Cloudwater doing the version 14, even though they've got New Zealand hops in it, I'm not a Kiwi phobe. Just don't like New Zealand hops. I might end up buying a Cloudwater. So yeah, links in the description to everyone involved, and I shall see you later. Bye.